what I'm hoping to do in this video is to just show you some of the features of Zoom that I use in teaching and in training. I'm going to try and keep each little section to about 5 minutes, and I'll link those little sections for you so that you can skip straight ahead to the timestamps. You might not want to watch the whole thing, you might just want to watch those little bits, so I'll try and do that for you. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover setting Zoom meetings up, so that's both on the website and with the companion app on your computer. We're going to look at share screens, breakout rooms, how to use breakout rooms, video controls, how best to show videos over Zoom, file sharing, and a little bit at the end on some of the new advanced settings that you might want to use. Okay, here we go. So this is the first little bit that I want to show you. So this is the web browser version of Zoom. And this is where you have all the settings and all the options that you can select for your meetings. Okay, you can see all the tabs just down here on the left, and I'll take you through those in a minute. So if you're using Safari or Edge or Chrome or whatever web browser that you use, zoom.us, and then just sign in with your email and the password that you've set up. And the first window that you look at is this one here, and this is where you can see the meetings that you've already scheduled. You can schedule meetings here on the web browser, and you can see some of the previous meetings that you've held. Okay, so there are some of the sessions that I've done over the past few weeks and months. However, where I want you to go is into this tab here, settings, and this contains all of the minutiae of settings for your meetings. So if you want to share screen, if you want to use breakout rooms, if you want to set whether your children or your participants join with their video or their audio, the settings are in here. So if we click on that, we get these options down here. Okay, and I'll take you through a few of these options very briefly. So the first one here in security is the waiting room option. Okay, and this is a really useful setting. Basically, what happens is your children, your participants, they'll join a meeting and they'll get a window saying that the host knows that they are waiting and they will let them in shortly. Okay, that just means that you've not got people sitting there in the meeting before you arrive. Equally, when you schedule the meeting, so this next section here, you have this option here as well. Okay, and that links to the waiting room just above in security. So if you toggle this switch on, that's going to allow people to join before you, the host, which probably not a great idea for most applications. Also within here, we've got these two settings here, which I think are very important. So first, that I would join, or you would join as the host with your video on, and that your participants initially starting the meeting will have their videos on. Okay, so that you can see people. Okay, the worst thing about remote learning or remote training is that you miss that face-to-face aspect of the session. So by having the participants' video on at the beginning, at least you can see their faces. Equally with that, I usually check this option here so they are muted when they join. Well, once they join, they can unmute themselves, or you can request them to unmute, but it just saves that feedback loop that you can get occasionally with various different people's devices. Okay, the next place that you want to go is the in-meeting basic functions. So if we check on this, you'll see there's a variety of different options here. So this is the basic setup of your meeting. Now you may or may not want these turned on. I do for the training that I do, but for teaching the children, I might not necessarily want these. So turning chat function on or off. Okay, we can do that. We can enable private chat. So that's where people can message each other one-to-one without everybody seeing, including you, the host. So you may or may not want that on or not. I always enable that for my training sessions. It might not be a setting that you want for the children. Okay, and finally here, you may or may not want this as well, and I'm going to show you how to do this a little bit later, but file transfer. Okay, so if you want to share files over Zoom, you're going to need to enable that feature. And then finally in this section, screen sharing. So unless you've already got this enabled, you're going to need to check this box here, so screen sharing. And there's a couple of other options here as well, okay, and depending on the application that you're using Zoom for. So you may want everybody to be able to screen share, or you may only want yourself to screen share. Okay, so double check those settings as well. Okay, so if we go to the advanced settings now, and you can see here, breakout room. So if you want to use breakout rooms, you first need to turn it on. It's not automatically enabled in your meeting settings. Okay, so it's just, again, it's the toggle switch. You just turn it on or turn it off. Okay, and this little bit here, I'll show you this a little bit later, allows you to pre-assign participants to specific breakout rooms before the meeting starts, so when that you're scheduling the meeting. Okay, so those are the basic settings here on the web browser. Where I shall take you to next are the basic settings in the companion software. The companion software that you would probably have downloaded onto your computer or the app on your tablet device, and there's only some very basic kind of settings here. Okay, so new meeting, this is where you're going to start a meeting. Join, this is where you might enter other people's meeting ID. You've got schedule here, so you can schedule your own meeting directly from the companion app. And then you've got all the settings up here above. Okay, so you've got the chat, so you can see all the previous chats that you've had and the meetings that you've got coming up. Okay, again, a very similar way to that we've got on the web browser. The companion software just tends to be a little bit more secure. So very simply, let's have a look at scheduling a meeting. Okay, so again, I'll show you both ways on the web browser and on the client software. So first of all, on the web browser, we've signed in again onto zoom.us. I'm on Safari here, you might be on Chrome or Edge or whatever web browser that you use, and there are a few different ways that you can do this. Okay, you can see here I'm in the meetings tab of my personal settings here, so I can schedule a meeting right here, or I can schedule a meeting up here. Okay, so if I check that option for you, and this is it really. So if I change this to, let's call it test meeting, I'm going to select the day and the month that I'm going to do it. So let's schedule it for the 20th of February at 10:30 a.m. It's going to last for 1 hour. You don't need to worry about this. You've got this option here that you can make it recurring. Okay, so if you've got a daily maths lesson, you can make the meeting reoccur, so your children only need the one email. They can keep clicking on it at the specified time. You've not got to set up multiple meetings each week. You set it to recur. So here we go. So recurrence daily, repeat every day, and you can select it to end on a particular date or after a number of occurrences. Okay, so I'm going to go after 5 occurrences, as if I were teaching 5 lessons. Okay, again, the settings here, because we've already checked these settings in the options, the waiting room is automatically there. The host video and participant video is automatically there because I've already pre-assigned those. I've also already pre-assigned this setting by muting participants. And here I could pre-assign them to a breakout room if I wished. So if I check that box, I can create rooms, import things from a CSV. Okay, there's a couple of other settings there. You can automatically record the meeting if you wish onto your computer. Okay, I don't wish to do that. So there we go. So I've got my test meeting, save. All right, there we go. So I have now scheduled that test meeting to happen 5 times, a recurring meeting on Zoom. So I can copy the invitation link to stick that in an email, or I can give people my meeting ID and my passcode, and they can log into that particular meeting as well. It's exactly the same option up here. So if I check that box, you see we go straight to exactly the same window that we started with before. Okay, so let's have a quick look on the client software. Client software, again, you've got these 4 basic options here. If you want to schedule a meeting, again, here it is, the button schedule. Okay, so I'll put test meeting again here at the top in the topic. Let's select it for Saturday the 20th of February. Let's schedule this meeting for 2:30. Schedule it to finish at 3:30, so an hour-long meeting. It's going to generate a specific meeting ID again. Okay, there's the passcode. I have pre-selected waiting room, pre-selected host video on, pre-selected participant video on, and in this particular one, so on here, I've also set it to send to my Google Calendar. And again, if you click Advanced Options, you've got those options there as well. So muting participants upon entry. The only thing that you don't have the facility to do in the client software is to pre-assign the breakout rooms. So if you want to do that, you're going to need to do that on the web browser. Okay, now we'll click save, and it would save that meeting again. So here I am in a meeting, and so you're looking at my desktop screen now, so your participants or your children won't see this, and you can see there's all these various different options here at the bottom of the screen. Okay, you've got mute, so if I check that, that would mute my audio. Okay, if you press, as it says there, if you press the space bar, it would unmute temporarily. I can stop the video so nobody can see me. And there's various different options here as well, so you can choose your virtual background here, you can change your video settings. The second option here that I've got highlighted, that's the second camera that I sometimes use as well. So there's some various different options in there. At the bottom here you've got security. So again, so some of those settings that we had on the web browser for allowing the participants, your children, your trainees, etc., to access, you've got the same functions here. So I've got screen share turned on for them, chat, they can rename, they can unmute, and they can start their own video. So we've got those. I've also got these settings here. So I've enabled a waiting room. That's basically all that that I use there in the security settings. Okay, obviously if you don't want them to share screen, you turn it off. If you don't want them to use the chat, you turn it off. Okay, it's as simple as that within the session. Okay, if you change your mind during the session, you can do that. Down at the bottom here, so I've got, just popped up now, I've got a list of participants. Okay, so that's quite a useful feature. I just come off main screen, you'll see that that drops down there at the side. So we've got the participants there, so I can see everybody's name and see whether they are muted, video on, etc. Here, if I check the chat drops down here at the side as well. So I can type messages to people there if I want. And then we've got the screen share function, so that's the big green button, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. Record, you can record your session just by checking that. As soon as you finish it by clicking this button down here in the corner which says end, it will convert it into a video and it will save it on your computer's hard drive. It can take a little bit of time depending on the size or the length of the video that you've done. Breakout room function is there if you've checked it and turned it on in the settings, and then reactions that I was talking to you about earlier. So all my participants will have access to this, so I can ask them to react to something that we're saying or a question that we're doing through some of these functions here. They can raise their hand if they want to unmute and ask a question as well. So let's have a look at the share screen settings next. So here, the big green button, share screen. You've got two different parts of the button. Okay, there's the big arrow here, which takes you to the screen share windows that you've got, and then we've got the little up arrow to the side, and you've got some settings there that you can change if you wish to. Okay, so big screen share button here. Now you can see there's a variety of different things that I have got open on my screen here. Okay, and the biggest tip that I can give you for screen share is to keep everything that you want to screen share full screen. So at the minute, Zoom here I've got minimized, so I can enter full screen. You're going to need to enter full screen to get the best quality from all of your screen shares. So down here at the bottom you can see I've got a PowerPoint open, that's full screen. I've got PDF open here, full screen, and I've got a video open here as well, full screen. So I'll show you how this works now. So you click the button, screen share, you've got all the options here at your fingertips. So you can AirPlay an iPhone or iPad if you wish. I've not got mine turned on currently. You've got a whiteboard option, so you can draw directly if you wish. And then here you can see I've got all of the windows open on my computer. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to share a PowerPoint. So we click it, it's highlighted in blue. We click the button at the bottom here that says share, and now we're in a share window. You can see that my face now is up in the corner, and what you'll see if you've got participants here is you'll see underneath you'll see all of the participants' little thumbnail faces, and they will see exactly what you are seeing now. So they will see the screen. They won't see all my settings at the top here, and they will see a list of other people's faces down at the side. Okay, so in screen sharing, I've got PowerPoint open. I've got all the functionality of usual PowerPoint from the screen share. So if I click the button, it's going to start changing the picture on the screen as I have set it up. Okay, now if I want to stop that, I just click the red button here that says stop share, and that'll take us back to the main window. Or if I would like to jump straight to another sharing window, I can click this button here. You can see it says new share. So if I click new share, it will bring up my options again. So new share, I'm going to share a PDF. So I've checked it, it's gone blue. So when I click share, it's that window that my children or the participants in my training will see. There we go. So again, exactly the same window that I am looking at, they are looking at too. The only thing that they won't see is they won't see these options here. Okay, I'll show you that again. So if I click new share, it'll take me to the share window, and I can choose to share something else. Okay, so I might choose to share my web browser. Okay, so I've selected, this is Safari. You'll see it now changes. This is the window that I was just working on. So this is the Zoom web browser. Again, they can see that. And it's as simple as that. Red button to stop share when you want them to stop. If you've got minimized screens, it's slightly more difficult to get through. You have to go through your desktop, and there's a lot of clicking and faffing around. So the best option, full screen on your computer. Preset those things up that you want to screen share, and then the sharing is very straightforward. I'll take you through it very quickly one last time. Green button, screen share, choose, share. There we go. Okay, as simple as that. Right, okay, so I've got a couple of other devices set up so that I can show you how breakout rooms work. Before I do, there's one last feature here which you might want to use once you've got other participants in your meeting. There's the button here that says view, and you've got a couple of different options there. You can click speaker view, so that will show who is speaking currently, or gallery view. Okay, so you've got those options. I prefer the gallery view because you can see everybody. So I can see you on this screen over here, and I can see you on this screen over here as well. Okay, so you see everybody. So breakout rooms, it's fairly straightforward. Once you've selected the option on the web browser, you just click this button down here at the bottom, breakout rooms, and it brings up this pop-up. Okay, so you've got a few different options here. So you can choose to assign automatically, you can choose to assign manually, or you can choose to let the participants choose. Okay, now if we assign manually, this is what happens. So I'm going to change it to 2 breakout rooms. Okay, I'm going to let them Zoom automatically assign. These are the versions of me, and I'm going to click create. Okay, and you'll get this window here. So these are the rooms that it has created. So you can see version 2 of me and version 1 of me. So if I say open rooms, we will see what happens. So you can see here on this little video that I've been given this option here to join or not join. Okay, so if I click join now, it's going to take this version of me out and put me in a separate room. Okay, if I do the same on this one over here, so if I click join, it's going to take me out and into a different room. Okay, so now back on the main screen, if I just move this out of the way, you can see that there's only me left. Okay, because my participants have been sent to a breakout room. I can't go and visit those breakout rooms. Okay, I'm stuck here. But one thing that I can do is I can broadcast a message to everybody. Okay, so I can say something to all the breakout rooms, a key piece of information, or a time stamp or something like that. I could say, let's say, 2 minutes left. Okay, so if I broadcast that, you'll see on this cutaway here that this is what your participants see. Okay, so at the top of their screen, they get a little message. Okay, saying 2 minutes left. Basically, that's how it works. Okay, and the people that go into the breakout rooms will be able to have conversation amongst themselves, will be able to chat amongst themselves. You have control as the host over when those rooms close. Okay, so if I click this red button here at the bottom, I can close all of those rooms. Okay, and you can see here in this cutaway, there's a countdown now started on each of the devices. There's an option there for my participants to leave immediately or to wait until the countdown is done. Okay, so if I show you on this screen here, if I click leave breakout room, it will return me to the main session. And you can see now here that I've got both my participants. Okay. If we leave this one to count down, you'll see what happens there. Okay, so without doing anything, you'll see that I'm automatically taken out of the breakout room and back to the main screen. Okay, and that's in the simplest way, that's how the breakout rooms work. Okay, I can recreate those breakout rooms, so I can change the people who are in there. I can assign manually if I want. Okay, and what I get when I assign manually is I get the 2 rooms that I've made, and I have this little button here that says assign. So I click that, you can see there both of my participants. So I might click participant 1 to that room, click assign down here, and click participant 2. I open the rooms and exactly the same thing happens. They are invited to join the breakout room that I've made with a pop-up on their window, which they would follow. Okay, so that's how you do assigning. Now, you might want to do that for a variety of reasons. It might be that you want to specifically put particular groups of people, children, in the same room. You can do that for whatever purpose that you want. In terms of teaching a class, it might be that you want to put the vast majority of your children into one breakout room and continue with the rest of the children in the main room. Okay, and that's totally possible as well. So if I click recreate, assign manually, I'm going to make just one breakout room this time, and I'm only going to assign one of those people to the breakout room. They're invited to join, and that leaves me with the other participant over here. Okay, and again, same thing, close the room and they will be invited to rejoin the main room, or they can wait till the countdown is done. And that's it. Breakout rooms are relatively straightforward in that respect. Now, if you would like to join a breakout room to see what's happening, what you'll need to do is you'll need to do what I've done right here. You'll need to sign yourself in on some different devices. Okay, you sign yourself in as a different device and you can drop yourself into different breakout rooms. Okay, so there is that option if you would like. Okay, so next I'd just like to cover videos. So playing videos over Zoom. Now, Zoom's a streaming service, and if you stream films from YouTube or Vimeo, or wherever you choose to stream videos from, depending on your service, Zoom can struggle, or certainly your service can struggle to stream the two things simultaneously. So I find the easiest thing to do is to download the video from the service where it is, so either YouTube or Vimeo or wherever it is, and you can do that in a number of ways. So here's the first way. So this is, and there's various different versions of this. You know, if you just Google free downloader, you can find all sorts of things in there. So this is called savefrom.net. And this is an online video downloader, and basically you paste the link, so the share link on YouTube or the share link on Vimeo, you copy that, you paste it into here, click download, and it will give you the option to download that video onto your computer's hard drive. Okay, if I just move this out of the way, also on Safari, so on Macs, there's this little add-on here called Tamper Monkey. So I use Tamper Monkey, and Tamper Monkey puts a download button on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever online service that you're downloading a film from. It will put a little download option there for you, and that does it directly onto your computer's hard drive as well. So kind of the first major top tip is to download the video. So I've already got one downloaded. If I just share that particular screen on Zoom so you can see. So it's this one here. Now at the bottom here, whilst I'm beginning to share, there's a couple of options. This one here says share screen. This one here says optimize for video clip. You're going to need that turned on. Okay, so if you click that one, it'll automatically turn the share sound on. Okay, the share sound, you can do that by itself. For example, if you're going to share some audio or something like that, basically what it does is it turns everybody else's computer into the speakers of yours. Okay, so rather than the sound coming out of your computer and going back in through the microphone, and you get really tinny and really disjointed audio on your film or if you're playing music, it turns everybody else's computer into speakers. Okay, and so they hear exactly what your computer's putting out. Okay, so we click that and we hit share. Okay, and this is the video. So as soon as I hit play, it's going to share my computer's sound. Okay, and by downloading it, what you don't get is you don't get that jerkiness and the buffering and that lag for your participants. So here it is on a second screen. Okay, so you can see that I'm screen sharing here, and this is the video. There's a little bit of jerky footage, but certainly not as much as if you were trying to stream at the same time. And basically what is happening that we can't hear because I've got the sound turned down on my iPad is the sound is exactly the same as what's coming out of my computer as well. And so basically that's the best top tip that I can give you for video. Number one, download the video wherever possible. Number two, make sure you optimize for video. Okay, so you can do that. If I just pause this, I'll show you one final time. So you can do that on the screen share window. So you get screen share, I choose the video, it gives me these two options at the bottom. Okay, if I don't do that, I can still share that screen, share the sound of my computer with this button here, more. Okay, if you go down all of these screen share options, you can see at the bottom there that we've got on optimize for video clip and share sound as well. So I click those and it does exactly the same thing. Okay, so that's video clips. Meeting or within the lesson that you're doing, you may choose to share some documents with the children or with the participants. Now Zoom can do that for you. And if you open the chat window, so here's mine down here on the right hand side of the screen, you'll see at the bottom there it says file. And basically all you do is you click file and it gives you all of these different options, okay, different places where you can share files from. Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, Microsoft SharePoint, or your computer. Now I found through using this that the easiest way to do it is to do it off your computer. So everything's saved onto your computer that you want to share, and also commonly transferred files are the best. PDF, for example, is the best kind of file type to share in this way. Let me show you what happens. So I click on my computer and I get this window here. So this is asking me to choose something to download. Okay, so this is just off my download section. There is a PDF. Okay, so I'll just click that and click open. And what you can see there is it starts to download that into the chat function. And that basically shares a file with them. Now, there's a number of complications and limitations with that. It depends on the device that's receiving the file. Okay, depends on the device receiving the file, and you can never guarantee that it's going to work successfully either through your computer or through Google Drive, etc. So I find for sharing files, the best way to do it is to send an email. Okay, so during the meeting, you just send an email to the participants. Okay, you have an email ready to go. Okay, so open in your Mail app or on your browser with the files that you want them to access already uploaded, and at the time where you need it, click send, and they can usually access those on the same device that they're using or on a second device. And I find that the most efficient way to file transfer. So there's one final little option on Zoom which allows you to superimpose yourself on top of some slides that you're using. Previously I will have shown you how to share a screen, and when we share a screen, you appear at the top right or wherever you position that for yourself, and everybody else who is viewing your meeting will see what you're screen sharing, and they'll see you in the top right corner as well. Okay, so that that's one way of being able to be seen and heard at the same time. Zoom has got a second screen sharing feature with things like PowerPoint. So if we click here at the top where it says Advanced, okay, and you can see here highlighted in blue is an option to slides as virtual background. Okay, so this is now going to superimpose me on top of the slides, and the slides will become a virtual background for my share screen. So we click share, it's going to ask me where to take the PowerPoint from, so I choose to open one. Okay, it's preparing them, and there you can see me in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Okay, and with the screen share on my iPad, you can see that that's what my participants will see. They will see me superimposed at the bottom of the screen as I change the slides. Okay, that's just another option for screen sharing. Okay, so I hope you found some of that useful. As I say at the beginning, I put a breakdown of all the times, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just skip to the appropriate time to watch the section that you're interested in. Okay, brilliant. Any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will try and answer. Thanks for now. Bye.